Blessings to you, beautiful soul. May the angels wrap their wings of pure, radiant light around you right now. Right where you are sitting, standing, or lying down. May you feel a gentle warmth spreading across your chest and a deep sense of peace washing over your mind as you open yourself to receive this message that was guided to find you today. You did not land here by accident. Nothing about this moment is random. Welcome to the Angel's Message for You original channel. This is our only official channel. Please beware of copycat and pirated channels, and stay connected to the original source for authentic angel messages and true blessings. A special thank you to Elaine, our soul subscribers, for their generous support through Ko-Fi and Super Thanks. Your contributions mean the world to us. Sending you countless angel blessings. Before you do anything else, before you let your mind wander, before you think about skipping ahead, I am asking you to do something simple and powerful. Stop. Take one slow, deep breath in through your nose. Hold it for just a moment, and then release it fully, completely, letting everything go. Because what you are about to receive today is not just information. It is not just a message. It is a transmission, a direct, divinely guided communication from the angelic realm, carried across the invisible space between heaven and your heart, meant to land inside of you in a way that nothing else has quite managed to land before. And I promise you this, if you stay with these words all the way to the very end, something inside of you is going to shift. Something you have been waiting to feel is going to stir awake. Some question you have been carrying, perhaps for a very long time, is going to find its answer. So please stay with this. Every word matters. Every sentence was chosen for you. You showed up here today for a reason far greater than you may yet understand. And that reason is about to become beautifully, undeniably clear. There is something extraordinary unfolding right now in the unseen world that surrounds your love story. Something that the physical eyes cannot yet see, but that the soul, that ancient, wise, endlessly knowing part of you that exists beneath all the noise and the doubt and the worry, has already been quietly feeling. Maybe you have noticed it as a hope that keeps returning even when your mind tries to argue you out of it. Maybe you have felt it as a warmth deep in your chest that simply will not go away no matter how much time passes or how many uncertainties pile up. Maybe you have experienced it as a knowing, soft, and yet completely unshakable, that this connection, this bond, this love between you and another soul is not finished, that it is still alive, that it still matters, that it is still real in a way that transcends circumstances and silence and everything the surface world seems to be saying. The angels want you to hear this today with absolute, complete clarity. You are not imagining it. You are not in denial. You are not holding on to something that has already dissolved. What you feel is real because what exists between you and the one whose heart is connected to yours is real. It is deeply, sacredly, powerfully, undeniably real. It is being held right now, this very moment, in the hands of something far greater, far wiser, and far more loving than either of you. So let us begin. Let us go deeper than the surface. Let us talk about what is truly happening. Not just in the visible world where things can look confusing and unclear and sometimes even heartbreaking, but in the deeper realm where love actually lives and breathes and grows, where the real story of your connection is being written by hands that never make mistakes. The one whose heart belongs with yours has made a decision. Not a small decision. Not a surface-level, easily reversed kind of decision. A soul-level, courageous, life-altering, deeply intentional decision that came from the most honest and genuine place within them. And this decision was not made lightly. It was not made in a moment of impulse or confusion or reactivity. It was not made because of outside pressure or other people's opinions. It was made from clarity. it was made from love. It was made from a deep, bone-level, undeniable understanding that what exists between you is too sacred, too precious, too real, and too important to be surrounded by anything that does not honor it, support it, or strengthen it. This person, the one who is connected to your heart in a way that cannot be easily explained by ordinary logic, has chosen to step back from every energy, every voice, every relationship, every environment, and every influence that was not in true alignment with the love that lives between the two of you. They have made the conscious, deliberate, faith-fueled choice to protect this connection by releasing everything around it that was clouding its light, confusing its path, or diluting its truth. And here is what the angels want you to genuinely, deeply understand about this. That kind of choice is one of the most powerful demonstrations of real love that one human being can offer another. When a person truly values something, not on the surface, not just in words, but in the actual marrow of their lived experience, they protect it. They do not leave it exposed to energies that could damage it. They do not passively allow forces that weaken it to remain in their life simply because those forces are familiar or comfortable. They build a protective boundary around what matters most. They make real sacrifices. They say goodbye to things that once felt natural or habitual because they have recognized that what they are protecting is worth infinitely more than the comfort of holding on to what no longer belongs. That is what is happening here, right now, in the life of the one whose heart is meant to walk beside yours. That is what they are doing and have been doing for this love. For you, take a moment to really sit with that. Feel the weight of it. The kind of inner courage it takes to look at pieces of a life you have built and say clearly and honestly, "This does not serve the love I have been called to. This friendship, this habit, this relationship, this environment, this voice, this pattern, it does not strengthen what I am building. And because of that, it has to go." Think about what it takes to release the familiar in order to make room for what is true. Most people in this world never do this. Most people hold on to what is comfortable even when some part of them knows, quietly, persistently, undeniably, that it is pulling them further from where they are truly meant to be. Most people let the fear of change win over the call of love. But your person has made a different choice. Your person has chosen differently, and that choice has not been made once, in a single dramatic moment. It has been made again and again, in the quiet, ordinary moments of every day, in the small decisions, in the moments when the old familiar pull came back and they chose the truth over the comfortable, in the moments when doubt crept in and they chose faith over fear, in the moments when outside voices grew loud and they chose the wisdom of their own heart over the noise of others. Every one of those moments was a choice for this love. Every single one was a choice for you. You may have been in a season recently where things between you felt uncertain, where the distance felt heavy and the silence felt like it was saying things you did not want to hear, where questions accumulated and the waiting stretched longer than felt bearable, where doubt and hope took turns living in your chest. The angels are fully aware of what that season has felt like for you. They have seen every sleepless night. They have been present for every moment when you lay awake wondering. They have heard every prayer you have sent up, the confident ones and the desperate ones, the eloquent ones and the ones that were nothing more than a wordless ache offered toward the sky. They have felt every wave of uncertainty that you pushed through in order to keep your heart from fully closing. And they want you to know, they want you to truly, deeply receive this. That season was not a sign that this love was ending. It was not evidence that what you feel is foolish or that what you hoped for was never real. That season was purification. It was refinement. It was the sacred and often uncomfortable process that every love goes through when it is being prepared for something lasting, something genuine, something that is meant to endure beyond the moment and grow into something truly extraordinary. There is a process that every truly great love, the kind of love that transforms people, the kind that is written into the fabric of a life and remembered long after everything else fades, goes through before it reaches its fullness. A time of testing, a time of stripping away, a time when everything that was attached to the love but that was never truly part of it gets drawn to the surface, gets seen for what it actually is, and gets released. The old wounds that both people were unconsciously carrying, the unhealthy dynamics that had quietly taken root, the outside voices and influences that had woven themselves into the story and were subtly pulling it off course. The fears and the defenses and the patterns that were blocking the kind of genuine vulnerability that real love requires. All of it rises, and all of it has to be faced and released before the love can step into its true form. This process is not comfortable. It does not feel like love when you are in the middle of it. From the inside, it often feels like loss. It often feels like something beautiful is slipping away. But from where the angels stand, from the elevated perspective that sees the whole picture, that can see not just where you are but where you are going, it looks like exactly what it is. It looks like preparation. It looks like love being made ready. It looks like the ground being cleared and the foundation being laid for something that is going to last. And your love has moved through that. Your connection has held through the pressure of that season. Both of you, in your own ways, from your own sides of this experience, have been doing the work. And what is emerging now on the other side of that season is not a diminished version of your love. It is a stronger one, cleaner one, a more honest, more grounded, more genuinely aligned version of what this connection was always meant to be. The one whose heart is meant to walk beside yours has been doing real, genuine, meaningful inner work throughout this time. Not the kind that is visible from the outside. Not the kind that gets posted or announced or performed for an audience. The quiet kind. The private kind. The kind that happens in the space between a person and their own soul. In the early hours of the morning when the world is still asleep. In the moments of honest self-reflection that nobody else witnesses, in the prayers offered with a sincerity that has no audience except the divine itself. This person has been sitting with hard truths and choosing, over and over, to face them rather than avoid them. They have been asking for guidance, genuinely, humbly, sincerely asking, and then listening to the answers even when those answers require difficult changes. They have been learning. They have been growing. They have been, in the truest sense of the phrase, becoming more of who they are truly meant to be. And with every morning that this person rises, there is a single intention that shapes the day. Not the intention to achieve something impressive. Not the intention to be seen a certain way by the world. The intention to move closer to what is true. To make choices that align with the love they have recognized as sacred. To take steps, even small ones, even imperfect ones, that lead in the direction of this connection, of this union, of the life that has been written for the two of you by something far wiser and more loving than either of you can fully comprehend. The angels hear every prayer this person offers, every single one, and they respond to every one. Not always in the ways that are immediately visible. Not always in the dramatic, obvious ways that would be easy to recognize. But in the quiet, precise, perfectly timed ways that a master craftsperson works. Adjusting this, opening that, removing this obstacle, creating that opportunity, speaking into this heart, softening that resistance. Always working, always guiding, always moving things in exactly the direction they need to go. There have been voices along the way. There always are in every love story that has depth and meaning and real stakes. Voices that tried to introduce confusion. People who, out of their own unresolved fears or their own limited understanding of what love can be, tried to project their doubts onto your person's clarity. environments that were saturated with energies that pulled attention away from what mattered most, situations that created noise where there needed to be quiet, influences that, whether intentionally or not, tried to lead this person away from the path they had committed to walking. Your person saw all of it for what it was, named it, and released it, not with bitterness, not with dramatic confrontation, not with anger or resentment or the kind of loud, performative letting go that still carries attachment in its energy, but with the quiet, clear, decisive kind of release that comes from someone who genuinely understands what they are protecting and why it matters. The kind of release that says, I see what this is, I understand that it does not belong here, and I am choosing something better. There is no longer any space in your person's life for what does not serve this love. There is no longer any tolerance for energies that try to dilute or distort or diminish the truth of this connection. Not because the world has become an enemy, but because clarity has arrived. And when genuine clarity arrives, the kind that comes from real spiritual openness, from the willingness to be honest with yourself even when honesty is uncomfortable, from the experience of truly surrendering your heart to something greater, there is simply no room left for what does not belong. It is not a decision that requires ongoing effort. It is a recognition that has become simply obvious. Your person has understood something profound, something that many people spend their entire lives circling around without ever quite landing in the center of. And it is this: you cannot genuinely ask for a blessing while simultaneously living in a way that contradicts it. You cannot sincerely pray for love to grow and then fill your life with the very things that prevent it from growing. You cannot claim that something is sacred and then treat it as though it is optional or secondary or something to be gotten around to eventually. There comes a moment in every spiritually awake person's life when the gap between what they are asking for and how they are living becomes impossible to ignore. When faith stops being a concept and has to become a practice. When prayer stops being something you do with your words and has to become something you do with your choices. That moment arrived for your person, and they met it with real courage, with real honesty, with the willingness to look at every corner of their life and ask the question that matters most. Does this align with the love I have chosen? And then to act on the honest answer to that question, even when acting on it required letting go of things that were once important or comfortable or familiar. Every single decision now is being made with this awareness. Every choice is filtered through the understanding that this love, your love, is something worth orienting an entire life around. Not in an obsessive way, not in a way that lacks its own health or wholeness, but in the way that every truly committed person orients themselves toward what they have recognized as their deepest truth. With consistency, with intention, with the patient, steady, faithful kind of commitment that does not need constant validation because it is anchored in something real. And now, right now, the angels want to speak to you, not about your person, but about you, dear soul. Because you are not a supporting character in this story. You are not simply waiting in the wings while someone else does all the inner work. You are an essential, vital, irreplaceable part of this sacred love story. And the choices you have made, the choice to stay open when your heart wanted to close, to keep believing when your mind wanted to give up, to stay soft when everything in you was tempted to harden, those choices have not gone unnoticed. They have not been without impact. They have been profoundly important. The angels see you. They see every single moment of this journey that you have been living. Every night that felt too long. Every morning you woke up and chose, again, to carry your hope forward rather than put it down. Every time you felt doubt creeping in and you made the choice, sometimes barely, sometimes with great effort, to return to trust. Every prayer you offered that felt like it disappeared into silence, that felt like maybe nothing was listening. The angels received every single one. They were never lost. They were never ignored. They were woven one by one into the fabric of what is being built for you. You were made genuinely, specifically, intentionally made for a love like this. Not the kind of love that keeps you living in anxiety and uncertainty, always wondering where you stand, always bracing for the next disappointment. Not the kind that asks you to make yourself smaller or pretend that what matters to you does not actually matter. The kind of love that sees you fully, your gifts and your flaws, your light and your shadow, your dreams and your fears, and chooses you completely. The kind that expands who you are rather than contracting it. The kind that is built on something real, something solid, something that can hold the weight of two whole lives leaning into it. Before we continue, your angels are asking you to pause for just a moment, take a deep breath, and remember this: you are not meant to struggle forever. Many people spend years working hard, praying for change, and wondering why abundance seems to stay just out of reach. But your angels want you to know that sometimes the breakthrough begins within. The thoughts you repeat, the beliefs you carry, the energy you focus on, all play a role in the reality you create. That's one reason so many people are discovering a program called Billionaire Brainwave. It's designed to help you access a more empowered mindset through specially created audio frequencies that work with your subconscious mind. No complicated lessons, no overwhelming routines. Simply listen and allow yourself to become more open to new possibilities. Many users say it has helped them build greater confidence, develop a more positive outlook, stay focused on their goals, recognize opportunities they once overlooked. Your angels often work in unexpected ways. Sometimes they send signs, sometimes they send people, and sometimes they place a tool on your path at exactly the right moment. If this message resonates with you, don't ignore that feeling. Your intuition may be trying to guide you towards something important. You can learn more about Billionaire Brainwave through the link in the description below. Remember, the life you desire begins with the choices you make today. And this could be the first step toward the change you've been praying for. Now, let's return to your angel message. That love is being made ready for you. It is being built with extraordinary care and attention in the realm of spirit, and it is preparing to step fully and completely into the reality of your everyday physical life. The angels are not speaking about a distant possibility. They are not offering you comfort language about something that might happen someday if everything goes right. They are speaking about something that is already in motion, already actively unfolding, already finding its way toward you with the kind of certainty that only divinely guided things carry. Can you feel it? That soft but persistent sense that something is shifting? That quality of movement in the atmosphere around this love story? As though things that were stationary are beginning to flow again, as though doors that were closed are beginning to open, as though the long stillness is giving way to something alive and forward-moving? That is not wishful thinking. That is your soul recognizing a reality that the angels are confirming for you in this very moment. The one whose heart is meant to walk beside yours is getting closer. In every dimension that matters. Closer in alignment, meaning the gap between who they are and who this love asks them to be is narrowing. Closer in readiness, meaning the inner work they have been doing is arriving at a place of genuine completion, a place where the preparation gives way to the expression. Closer in their ability to show up fully, honestly, and without reservation for the connection that has been calling to both of you. Every old thing that was released made space. Every barrier that was removed opened a passage. Every prayer offered in sincerity was received and is being answered, sometimes in ways that are already visible if you look closely enough, sometimes in ways that are still making their way through the invisible realm before they become visible in your life. There is a divine timing that is governing this love story, and the angels want to make sure you understand what that truly means, because divine timing is one of the most misunderstood concepts in spiritual life. Divine timing does not mean that the universe is making you wait as a form of punishment. It does not mean that something good is being deliberately kept from you. It does not mean that your prayers are being ignored or that your faith is being tested to some arbitrary endpoint before you are allowed to receive what you have asked for. Divine timing means that every person involved, every heart that is part of this story, every circumstance that needs to shift, all of it is being prepared in the most precise and loving way possible, so that when this love steps into its full expression, it can do so in a way that is genuinely whole and genuinely lasting. Not rushed, not forced, not held together by sheer willpower against an energy that is not yet ready, but naturally, organically, completely ready, in the way that things are ready when they have been given the time and the care they need. Think about the way a seed grows into a tree. The seed does not rush. It does not decide to skip the underground phase and jump straight to bearing fruit. It sits in the dark, in the quiet, often with nothing visible happening on the surface. And yet everything that matters is happening. All the growth, all the strengthening, all the preparation for what is to come. When the seed finally breaks through the surface and begins to grow upward, it does so because the conditions are right, because the roots are deep enough, because what is below can support what is above. Your love is in that final underground phase. The roots are deep, the foundation is solid, the preparation has been thorough, and the breakthrough into full, visible, lived expression is coming. It is coming because the conditions have been created for it, because the hearts involved have done what needed to be done, because everything that could have prevented it has been addressed and released. The bloom is coming, dear soul. The angels say this with full certainty and full love. And while you wait for it, while you hold the space for what is being prepared, the angels offer you this invitation. Return again and again to the feeling of love itself rather than to the anxiety of wondering when it will arrive. Anxiety lives in the future. It lives in the questions about timing and logistics and how things will unfold. Love lives in the present. It lives in the warmth that rises in your chest when you think of this connection. It lives in the gratitude you can choose to feel right now for what already exists between you, for what has already survived, for what is already real. It lives in the faith you can practice in this very moment, the quiet, grounded, unforced faith that says, I trust this. I trust the process. I trust what I feel. I trust that what is real cannot be destroyed by time or distance or circumstance. Take a quick second before we move forward. Many channels are reposting and copying our content, but authentic energy cannot be duplicated. For the strongest positive connection and divine guidance, always listen from the original angel's message for you channel with the black logo base. Now, let's continue with the message your angels want you to hear. You do not need to force anything into being before its right moment. You do not need to manipulate circumstances or push timelines or hold on with white-knuckled desperation. The energy of forcing comes from fear, from a place that does not quite believe that what is wanted is truly on its way. And the angels want to invite you to exchange that energy for something far more powerful and far more effective. The energy of trust. The energy of someone who knows, who genuinely, peacefully, deeply knows that what has been blessed is coming, who can breathe, who can rest, who can live their life with joy and openness even while the details are still unfolding, who can receive the signs and the synchronicities along the way with gratitude rather than anxiety, who can say, "It is coming, and I am ready." That energy is magnetic. That energy draws things toward it rather than pushing them away. That energy creates an atmosphere of grace around your love story, a space of peace and warmth and openness in which things can naturally and beautifully settle into their right places. Your person is growing in the ways that this love specifically needs them to grow, learning in the lived reality of daily life what it genuinely means to prioritize something sacred, not just in words, not just in intention, but in actual choices and actual actions. Learning what it feels like to release old patterns that were comfortable but limiting. Learning that real love, the kind that is worthy of the name, is not passive. It is chosen, every day, even on the days when choosing it is inconvenient, even on the days when the old familiar way of being pulls at them, even on the days when it would be easier to slip back into what was known. They are choosing this love. They are choosing you, quietly, deliberately, with increasing confidence and increasing clarity. And everything they are releasing and everything they are becoming is moving them closer, day by day, choice by choice, to the moment when this love steps fully into its expression in both of your lives. The angels have been present for every moment of this journey. Every step your person has taken toward growth, they have witnessed. Every prayer your person has offered, they have received. Every moment when your person faced a crossroads and chose the path that leads toward this love rather than away from it, the angels were there, holding the space, confirming the direction, clearing what needed to be cleared, and they have been present for every moment of your journey as well. Every step you have taken in faith, every night you spent in doubt and chose hope again by morning, every moment you reached out to something greater and asked for the strength to keep going. All of it has been seen, all of it has been held, all of it has been woven into the fabric of what is being created for you. Nothing in this story has been wasted. Not one tear, not one prayer, not one moment of waiting, not one difficult choice. Every single piece of it has been purposeful. Every single moment has been part of the path. And the path is leading somewhere extraordinary. The transformation that is happening in your person, in you, in the space between you is real. It is not something that needs to be taken on faith alone, although faith is certainly part of it. It is something you can already begin to feel at the edges of your awareness if you are willing to pay attention. The atmosphere around this love is different than it was. Something has shifted. Something that was tightly wound has begun to release. Something that was hidden is beginning to come into the light. Can you feel that? Can you sense the shift? Pay attention to it. Trust it. Let it deepen your faith rather than triggering your skepticism. Your heart knows things that your mind has not yet caught up with. And right now, your heart is telling you that something good is coming. Something real. Something that is going to make every single difficult moment of this journey make complete and beautiful sense. The angels stand with you at the threshold of that something. They stand with your person as well on the other side of the same threshold. And they are making absolutely sure, with all the love and the wisdom and the power available to them, that when the moment comes for this love to step fully into its expression, everything is in place. Every detail accounted for, every heart prepared, every obstacle removed, every path cleared. You are not alone, dear soul. You have never been alone for even one moment of this journey. And neither has the one whose heart is meant to walk beside yours. You have both been accompanied, guided, protected, and loved every step of the way, by forces far greater than either of you can fully see, by an intelligence far more loving than any human heart can fully contain, by the eternal, unwavering, endlessly patient love of heaven itself, Hold on. Not with tightness, not with desperation, not with the white-knuckled grip of someone who is afraid. Hold on with the open-handed trust of someone who knows. Someone who knows that what is real cannot be destroyed. Someone who knows that what has been blessed will be fulfilled. Someone who knows that they are loved by the divine, by the angels, by the one whose heart is finding its way home. This love is real. It is protected. It is growing. It is coming. And you, dear soul, exactly as you are right now in this very moment, are completely worthy of receiving it. With infinite love, with the full radiance of heaven surrounding you, with the certainty of angels who see what is coming and rejoice in it, your guardian angels are with you. Every breath, every step, every single moment, now and always. End of text. There is one more thing the angels want to say to you before this message closes, and it may be the most important thing of all. You have read this far. You have stayed through every word, every paragraph, every turn of this message. And that tells the angels something very significant about you. Tells them that you are ready, not just hoping, not just wishing, genuinely, deeply, soul-level ready for what is coming. Because people who are not truly ready do not stay. They skim. They move on. They cannot sit in the discomfort of hope long enough to let it transform into certainty. But you stayed. And in staying, you have already opened a door inside of yourself. A door that perhaps has been closed for a while, or perhaps has been open only a crack, and you have let the light of this message come through it. That light is not going to leave you now that you are done reading. It is going to stay. It is going to keep working in you, in the quiet moments, in the in-between spaces of your everyday life. When you lie down tonight and the room is dark and the thoughts begin to come, it is going to be there. When you wake up tomorrow and the uncertainty tries to creep back in, it is going to be there. When you have one of those ordinary moments in an ordinary day and something unexpectedly reminds you of this love, it is going to be there. A steady, warm, quiet presence inside of you, reminding you of what you know, reminding you of what is real, reminding you that you are not forgotten, that you are not imagining it, that you are not waiting in vain. The angels want you to carry this with you now, not as a burden, as a gift, the gift of knowing, truly knowing, that you are held in something eternal. That your love story is in the most capable and the most loving hands possible. That the one whose heart is meant to be beside yours is actively, sincerely, faithfully making their way toward the fullness of this connection. And that every force in heaven is working, right now in this very moment, to clear the way and prepare the ground and create the conditions for this love to bloom in the most beautiful way that it is possible for it to bloom. There are signs coming your way. The angels want you to be watching for them, not with anxious scrutiny, not with the desperate searching of someone who needs constant reassurance, but with the gentle, open, curious awareness of someone who knows that the universe speaks in the language of synchronicity and coincidence and moments of unexpected resonance. A song that comes on at precisely the right moment. A word that catches your eye that feels like it was placed there for you. A sudden warmth in your heart that has no external explanation. A dream that leaves you with a feeling of peace that carries through into the waking day. A thought of this person that arrives not with longing and anxiety but with a quiet and certain sense of connection. These are not accidents. These are messages. These are the angels speaking to you in the language of your own daily life. Receive them, thank them, let them strengthen your faith. And when doubt comes, because doubt will come, it is part of being human, it is part of holding hope over the long haul. When it comes, do not fight it. Do not berate yourself for feeling it. Simply acknowledge it and then return. Return to what you feel in the deepest place in your heart. Return to the knowing that lives beneath the surface of all the mental noise. Return to the truth that has never fully gone quiet in you, no matter how loud everything else has gotten. That truth is not going to leave you. It is the most stable thing about your experience of this love. It has outlasted every wave of doubt and every stretch of uncertainty and every difficult season. And it will continue to outlast them because it is not based on circumstances or evidence or what things look like from the outside. It is based on something the soul simply knows, something that cannot be argued away, because it is not an argument. It is a recognition. Your love is a recognition. The recognition that this person's soul and yours have met in a place of truth. That this connection is not manufactured or forced or built on wishful thinking. That there is something genuinely and undeniably real here. Something worth protecting, worth growing, worth the full sincere commitment of two whole hearts. Your person has recognized this. You have recognized this. And that recognition, once made at the soul level, does not unhappen. It does not reverse itself. It simply waits to be fully expressed. The expression is coming. The angels promise you this with the full weight of their love and their knowing. It is coming in the way that the sunrise comes. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but inevitably, beautifully, with a light that grows and grows until it has filled everything. And when it arrives, when this love finally steps into its full, unobstructed, radiantly expressed form in your life, you will feel in every cell of your body that it was worth it. That every single moment of waiting and trusting and choosing faith was worth it. That every prayer was heard and answered. That nothing was wasted. That the love you believed in was exactly as real as you knew it was. Until that moment, and in every moment after it, the angels are with you, surrounding you, holding you, guiding you, loving you with a love that has no condition and no end. You are safe. You are seen. You are deeply and completely cherished. And so is the love that lives in your heart. Go forward now, dear soul. Go forward with your heart open and your spirit light and your faith stronger than it was when you began. Because something extraordinary is on its way to you. Something that your heart has always known was meant for you. Something that the angels have been quietly, lovingly, perfectly preparing. It is coming, and you are ready, with all the love that heaven holds. Dear beautiful soul, this angel's message for you channel is a divine space, a sanctuary for the soul. If you're new to this channel, think of this as your spiritual home. It's a sacred space created intentionally for faith to grow, purpose to be sparked, and God-given destinies to be confirmed and lived out. We are busy building a lively community deeply rooted in the rich soil of God's unconditional love. A place where heaven truly speaks into our lives and deep, lasting change regularly happens. We warmly invite you to subscribe and stay connected, because God undoubtedly has so much more to reveal and bring about in your unique life journey. You genuinely don't want to miss what the divine is preparing to do next in and through you. Consider making a generous contribution if you feel moved to support our efforts of spreading divine messages. Whether it's $5, $10, $20, or $50, your contribution enables us to continue sharing these profound messages of healing and hope with the world. Spreading the word is just the beginning of our mission. Hearts are being healed, hope is being renewed, and souls are being guided back to the light. Your support helps us realize our shared goal of making a positive impact. Your generosity, no matter how small, is what keeps our community thriving and bringing people together in love on this sacred journey. We are all interconnected, and we will rise as one. By uniting, we can conquer this. Let us wholeheartedly embrace the abundance that lies ahead. Amen.